I'm going to call to order the July 23rd meeting of the Albany Community Media Access Committee. So we'll just start off by doing roll call. We'll start with you. Just say your name into the microphone.
Sunny Sun.
Chloe Stapleton Gray.
Jack Kenny.
Naomi Siegel.
Jeremy Allen.
All right, so we don't have any minutes to approve, so we can.
No, unfortunately,
yeah.
there was a problem with the audio file, and Raquel, who was going to do the minutes, is out of town, so we'll come back to those minutes, review those in October.
Okay, so moving on to public comment. Is there anyone? Nope. That wants to address the committee?
All right.
All right. So moving on to announcements and updates. So the Albany Film Fest subcommittee report, that would be Naomi.
Yeah, so we had a meeting today with Doug Donaldson from the Albany Community Foundation to discuss how we would work together in the future, and we're going to make a proposal to him that he can present to his committee in a couple weeks at their meeting. And hopefully we can move forward together in a more, what would you say, structured way?
Structured and expanded way.
Expanded way.
Yeah.
So we'll report back when we hear back how that went.
Any other comments on that from anyone? Okay.
Other than this.
We have this wonderful new sponsor levels and benefits document, which we have in this box here, and it's also available on our website. So if we always need new sponsors. If you have anyone you would like to give this to, or let us know new avenues for sponsors you think would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk.
For sure.
Especially ones that want to sponsor the whole film festival. We're
Yeah.
looking for those especially.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think we're thinking of having an enhanced membership drive at the Solano Stroll in order to perk up our members. And we'll be giving away free passes as part of that, and really working hard on raising our profile. Mm-hmm. And hopefully do it at the Dinner with Albany, which is when?
September 29th.
Okay, so that's the whole month of September.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be maybe the month of September. Maybe our
Maybe
membership
what
month.
we can do is work with Recreation and be part of Albany Local Week and do something in line with
That's September too?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
last week of, the week of 24th through the 28th.
Yeah, that would be a way to go. That's a really good idea.
Okay.
Okay. Talking about getting lighting for the Twin, still in discussion mode on that to help us. Jeremy can talk more to that.
Yeah, we're looking at installing lights in partnership with the Solano Avenue Association and the Twin Theater, and installing. The theater is old and has kind of minimal house lights, and so we wanted to do some supplemental stage lighting that makes it easy to see people who are standing in front, like especially for filmmaker presentations or talks or Q&A after screenings. We bring in our own lights, other people bring in their own lights, and it's usually when we have a spotlight there, it's too extreme for anybody who's standing there. It's just a lot of people who talk aren't used to having that type of light shine directly in their face, and it gets kind of disconcerting. And half of the conversation is about how bright the light is every time. So if we were to do something, it would just be a lot more functional for our use.
I think those are the high points.
Yeah, the other thing that I mentioned about Film Fest is I did receive the filmmaker interviews back from Ari, so she's completed the edits on several of those. So within this next week, I'll we'll come up with a plan for putting them on our website and promoting them and using that as a kind of a promotional tool for the Film Fest.
Yeah.
And maybe not release them all at once, but we do have, I think, at least 4 that she's completed with filmmakers talking about their experience either at the Film Fest or with, I haven't watched them all yet, but I just kind of skipped through, so we'll be ready to go with some of that.
I think she put titles on them, and there's beginnings and endings and
Yeah.
titles, and,
Yeah, so
yeah,
makes it a lot easier to show.
yeah.
Social media that we're doing for Film Fest that Ari's been doing has been great. I'm looking at our, I don't, it's all going, our Facebook and Instagram is kind of gradually, inching up,
Our Facebook stats were way up.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That was the first time there were no down arrows. It was all up. We didn't lose any Twitter followers to the bot purge.
Yeah, okay.
So these are all real people for us. And
We're
we're all
only,
steadily going up.
we're not doing anything specifically on Twitter. Basically, Twitter is receiving
It's
everything.
Instagram.
Instagram and Instagram is going to Facebook and to
Right.
Twitter.
It starts with Instagram.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't think we said anything else, really.
I could just report on the revenue and
Okay.
the attendance.
Yes,
We got a report from the Albany Twin, so we broke it down by the different shows, how many attended, and we had an increase in attendance from 2017. We had 950 people at the Albany Twin. That doesn't include the kids matinee and the virtual reality shows that we had at the community center. So we're pretty confident we're well over 1,000 for the total attendance at the festival. But the income from the Albany Twin was significantly higher in this year. It was almost $7,500. Last year was about $5,500. The passes were down a little bit, actually. This year compared to last year, but overall attendance there was more paid attendance this year, so overall we did pretty well.
Okay, so moving on to the AOSD report, but I assume that would be Raquel and
Yeah.
that vacancy.
Yeah.
So that means no one is here to do the report.
And, we can talk a little bit about that in 6.3 if we want to, talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then moving on to the KALB staff
right.
report.
Unfortunately, our new employee, Alexandria Love, was not able to make it tonight, but KALB does have a new employee. She's been fantastic, really got a lot of great energy and a lot of great skills to match. We've been working on a number of projects. Primarily, she's focusing on social media, kind of a communications type position for the city. So we actually launched the city's Instagram account. So that's our 42 followers, right?
Notice you followed the film fest.
Yeah, we did, of course. But we're taking this time right now to do an assessment of all of the city's social media, branding, communications, and design, and kind of take it all in, and then establish some standards that we can push out to the rest of the city. So that there is a bit more uniformity in all of our communications. Each department tends to do things kind of all on their own. That's why there's fire department has weird fonts on their banners and. I don't want to call out the fire department, but, PD, fire department, everybody kind of does their own thing, and we're trying to bring it all in and have, the recreation department does probably the best job of keeping some design guidelines together and doing good outreach and communications with their population. So looking at their social media and their publications, they look good, they look consistent, and so we're trying to bring all the city along to kind of follow that. So in doing that, she and I have been working on several projects with that. We have some new PSAs that are going to come out. We're doing, Albany Police Department is going to be, well, there, how is it, would say, there is a campaign, not a campaign, it's an awareness campaign about the policy that's going to change in terms of ticketing people with large cars who block the sidewalks. So we are making some
Really?
interesting and humorous depictions of people being blocked on the sidewalk as they're trying to traverse Albany streets. So we've got a couple that are in works right now, and they're amusing. We should be launching that within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have another campaign that's going to come out in the fall for bottled water filling stations that are going to be installed in parks throughout the city. So Albany Greenway, all of the parks are going to get bottle filling stations that are funded by the soda tax, in conjunction with a whole campaign of funding parts of crossing guards, funding some exercise and fitness classes, sort of like a healthy lifestyles campaign. So we're working on that as well too. So KALB is kind of taking on this sort of branding communications role in a pretty significant fashion, and especially since we have Alex here with her particular background in communications, it's been really helpful. I've also been training her on how to use the equipment, running our public meetings. So it'd be good to have a backup for that. In terms of, I'll be brief here. So Solano Stroll, the city will be doing a different type of booth together with Film Fest. I think I want to do some sort of like video presentation, learn about Albany through some sort of like multimedia, something or other that I'll create in August, and she and I will be working on that. So it won't be a table with somebody handing out flyers, but something that's a little bit more engaging, perhaps some kind of, survey or something to watch, something that you can see. I don't know whether or not we're going to purchase equipment or rent equipment, but it'll be some sort of big screen that attracts people to come in and find out about whatever we want to tell them. And lastly, our first ATEM production switcher that we bought when we, the piece of equipment that controls our camera operating system at the community center died like 3 weeks ago. So it's time to replace it with another one so that we can, because currently we cannot do any productions at the community center because the brain of the operation is down right now. So, but that we got that in 2012 or 2013, so it lived a nice life, and so we'll have a ceremony for
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Tim. What's that going to cost to replace?
$1,200, something like that. I have the new version here at City Hall, and it seems to be working fine. I took when the other one went out, I got a new one for here, put the old one there, and so the old one finally has bit the dust. So that's kind of my report for right now.
Okay. So moving on to the discussion and possible action on matters related to, first, the community media volunteer program.
We may have to look at this a little bit more in October. This is Alex's project. She has met with Max and Juan, putting together a volunteer community, coming up with the outreach to bring members of the community together with varying skill sets to promote content and create content here in Albany. We had, actually, I forgot to mention, on July 4th, we had our first soapbox in a long time, and we filmed people talking about, well, what was it? Was it 1 minute? 3 minutes? 1 minute.
1 minute.
It was 1 minute.
Yeah, so we have about 15 different presentations of 1 minute random statements and some pretty funny stuff. I'll probably get to that in the next couple weeks, edit that together and put that online. But those are the type of things we would like to do is be able to have people to call for the different types of productions, camera operators, boom operators, audio, video, kind of technical director, and having a crew of people who are available to do projects for us. For example, when we do PSAs, when we did the PSA or the shots last week for the police department, it was just Alex and I, and it could have been, this was kind of going by the seat of our pants, so it wasn't really worth bringing on other people to do that. But if we had a better plan and we and if we wanted to work on those sort of things together, we could certainly do that with more people.
Maybe we'll see the soapbox at the Solano Stroll.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun to show that.
Maybe we could solicit for that program at the Solano
Yeah.
Stroll? Is that too early, or?
No,
good
I don't
timing?
think so. I think what we want to do is get people who are interested, and that would be the perfect place to talk about that and have some of our stuff set up and kind of bring people in.
Flyer about it or something?
And give out tickets to the film fest.
Correct.
Of course.
We
With
need
a big
bigger
wheel.
table already.
That always attracts people at the stroll.
Yes, with a dunk tank, too.
Don't want to get the tickets wet.
All right.
So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll come back to this. I know that we had some ideas of having, when we last spoke, having classes that we could advertise in the guide for the fall, but I don't think that's going to happen this time around. Maybe we'll look towards having classes available in the spring with enough time to put together a program. Then, but Juan, he was kind of the main person who I've been working with, and then I put he and Alex and Max together to work on that.
Okay, so moving on to upcoming community events.
Well, in September, Sunny, do you live here in Albany? Yeah, or-
I live right down the street.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So, and you've been in Albany for a while.
This is about to be my second year.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So,
it's a little past a year and a half.
so September, obviously there's back to school, all the schools start up, but September is a really it's kind of like our best weather here, and so there's not really any point trying to plan anything in June or July because the weather could go anyways. But typically September, October is nice weather. So we have a concert series in the park that we produce. We have the Solano Stroll, which happens once a year, which is a what do you call it? A
Street party?
Street party of 300,000 people where they close all of Solano Avenue.
Oh,
We have
that sounds pretty fun.
That's it this year.
Dinner with Albany is another event that we produce every other year, where we close the bottom portion of Solano Avenue and basically have 3,000 people come and eat dinner together, build a stage, and have kind of fun in the community. And Albany Local Week is coming up. So I thought those would be good times for us to be out in the community soliciting for people who want to learn about or make things for Film Fest, make things for KALB, looking at how we can expand our programming on the channel and the website. I've been working a little bit with the Historical Society, hoping to get some content that we could, part of what I want to do for Solano Stroll is use vintage pictures or images of Albany. I always find those fascinating to look at, old pictures of what's around here, and I think somehow, putting that together with some type of call for people to get involved, maybe. I like Albany stories. One of the things that we've been looking at is we have some archives of people who've been here for a long time talking about stuff. We've had some different ideas about making a talk show where we're talking about stuff. Alex really wants to put together a podcast that we do on a regular basis that could be some of these same stories. Maybe a little bit easier to create a regular podcast than it is to create a 30-minute show. So looking at different ways where we can generate content that is of interest to the community, and all of these places will be good events for us to gather people together and let them know about what we're doing.
Are you aware that there's a Facebook group of
Yes.
Albany historical photos?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know of the one, you're from Albany if, is
Yeah, I
that the,
know
is that the one?
Yeah,
Something like that.
is that the one?
Yeah, Luke told me about it. Then there's some great shots of Solano Avenue from the 30s, and
So,
I
and,
think it's that one.
yeah, and so that's where we're going to get some of that content from, but I think it's also, that'll be a place where we launch. I want to have a little bit of what our kind of like spiel is first, like what do we want?
Yeah.
And how do we want that? Before we really engage and like ask for stuff, because if people start, if we're not really ready to receive it or do something with it, it could be kind of, like flat tirey, But that's the plan. So I was figuring, we could talk a little bit about how, some good ways that we could get people involved. What are the, who wants to be there? I'll be at all of those in different capacities. But do we want to have people, sitting there with me? Do we want to do something while we're there? Anything specific? We talked a little bit about Film Fest stuff for Solano Stroll, but what about KALB stuff for these other places? One of the things I'm planning to do for the Music in the Park series is do a live stream for those concerts, just because. Not that you'd necessarily want to see a band, perform on Facebook or YouTube, but, it may be a way to
not
promote.
just any band.
Not just any band.
Well, you could make a video at the Solano Stroll and include shots from the before photos, like in the 30s or whatever, and then pan to what it looks like now, because Solano has changed a lot. Even in the last 5 years, it's changed a lot.
That's
So it would be interesting if you made a film with the photos and then the video of what it is now.
Okay.
And you could interview people too that have been through all that.
So do you think we should set up an interview station like at Albany Soapbox and try and capture those as people come in?
If it was quiet enough.
It'll be loud. I mean, there's like the karaoke
Yeah.
booth is like across from.
And the BART train.
And
I
the
guess-
BART train.
I mean, if you can use a boom, then that could work.
I mean, yeah, we can get good audio
Yeah.
if we do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
This is probably completely impossible and impractical, but if Alex could set up like a little podcast station where she was live podcasting, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
Just
cool.
do a 15-minute pod, just make it, and then people could watch her do that.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, people used to do that in the early days of television, like in the 50s when the Today Show first started. They had a window out onto
Right.
the street,
Right.
and people would just stand there and go,
So if we did that so we could, yeah, you know what we could do? We could do that either as, because the podcast, might just be easy to do it as a live stream, just kind of set up a shot with a table and kind of an interview and a couple microphones and just have like,
and it would be a live stream, but you could stand there and watch it.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
she's pretty entertaining.
she is,
I mean, I would watch her.
right.
Yeah.
And if we do that every hour,
Right.
like for 10
Exactly.
minutes,
Yeah.
and
Just announce,
who we're talking to.
Yeah.
And actually, that would be we could bring in, because I can do titles so we can do a live stream with titles. We can have an opening sequence, like a simple title slide, and then some lower third graphics, and we could do those on the spot. So we could do a lower third. If we work with some of our kind of media helpers, I can teach them how to, set up titles and kind of cut to those different shots, and we'll go live, on the hour throughout the Solano Stroll.
You have like local celebrities or whatever.
Yeah, right. And people could show up. We might be able to book some people.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, yeah, like, your slot, Naomi Seal is going to be there talking,
I'd watch that.
at 11 a.m., right? And then we can stream it to, I think we can stream to multiple pages at the same time. I'll have to check and see whether or not we'll want to do Film Fest. KALB doesn't have any subscribers but we can go live to the city site. We can go live to YouTube. We can go live to the Film Fest site. Maybe at different times we'll coordinate that. That's cool. That's a cool idea.
We can all subscribe
There you
Right,
go.
right.
You could have people subscribe.
Yeah, while they're there. Because we have decent, I'll have to see kind of what our Wi-Fi connection is there, whether or not I can use our Comcast account in our particular location if I've got a good service there. So I'll check that out and see.
Yeah, there's all those performers on Solano that day. You might be able to pull
Yeah.
some of them over
Get
to
some tap dancers over there.
say something or do something, sing a song.
Right?
I'd like to tap dance.
Yeah, okay. Live,
A karate guy.
Yes, the Karate Kids like to go. They're right next to us.
Yeah.
that would be actually really interesting, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Some lion dancers over there, too.
Get the grand marshal.
It's a hot little area there under the freeway.
All right. So that's, I think that's the way to go. So we set up like a little booth. So it's going to be a combination kind of city. So the way that I think I might do this is not specifically for KALB. I'll do it for the city of Albany, and KALB is doing it for the city.
Yeah.
And then we'll book Film Fest to come on at a certain time.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Be right there.
You'll be right there. Yeah. That's cool. Very cool. And then the big screen that I either rent or buy will be our backdrop. And it'll have all these different shifting images that I can kind of curate for when we're talking about stuff. So it'll be kind of like a backdrop.
There you go.
Yeah. And not just the bench or the newspaper stand or the cleaners.
Right. It'll make sitting
Sounds
on
good.
Albany, on Solano all day like,
We'll have to get some cool chairs, though. We need to get some director's chairs.
yeah.
Okay. And we talked a little bit, so Albany Local Week, I should talk with Rec and see if there's
Yeah.
something that we can
Probably
do.
better do that
No,
soon. We
Yeah.
probably already missed their deadline.
yeah. So Solano Store, we got music in the park. Does anybody want to do something specific there? Wednesdays in September in the evenings, specific to KAOB or surveys, sign up, fundraiser. Partners,
September.
yeah. We could,
Do they have, what's the setup? I know there's a stage, but
yeah, the stage, a lot of people in the park, you know, I've my sound booth, usually to the side. I think Ocean View Brewery probably will be there.
uh-huh.
They're kind of like the new sponsor. Hopsy is not around, but
Right.
you know, they have brought in different partners for each to feature local business. Maybe we want to kind of piggyback on that and sponsor, partner, do some sort of thing.
We who?
KALB or Film Fest. Like, I'm thinking maybe KALB sponsors the live stream, and then
Oh,
talk about that, or somehow tie in a little bit of our messaging. You know, I mean, our operation does sound for those events and kind of produces that aspect of it. So it wouldn't be hard to make that connection for community media, or make some sort of announcement prior to the performance.
yeah, it seems like should be doing that.
Yeah, Albany, you know, maybe we can get a different member of the committee for each performance.
Time is it?
6:30.
Yeah, I'm generally not available on Wednesdays at that time.
So, but maybe,
Others
you know,
episodes.
through, you know, our committee, maybe that's an easy way to either MC or kind of, you know, this is, you know, because we've been doing this now for how many years? 14 years, 13 years? And KALB is not necessarily getting, you know, I get some accolades for mixing the bands, but it's really kind of all of this equipment and kind of the infrastructure is through KALB and our kind of production. Were it not for community media access, this wouldn't really be happening.
maybe that's where we could get people to Sign up on the mailing list and hand out some free tickets to the film fest.
Right, right. So I think I'm going to petition Recreation to add that as a component to like the, have you guys gone to the concerts before?
I
Yeah.
have, yeah.
So to make a few different announcements, maybe I just make sure that either one of us or one of you guys can be up there on stage, say a sentence or two, about how important this is, media in the community. Because I think that's a big chunk of people who don't know
Right.
that there's a TV station, there's a film festival,
There's a kids festival.
there's a kids festival, and all of these different things. Follow us, like us, and sign up over
Yeah.
here on our for our newsletter. Yeah.
So that's part of our September membership drive month.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dinner with Albany, I don't know if that's not really a kind of a place for that. I don't want to put paper in front of everybody, but they were talking about doing a live stream of that as well so that people at one end could see what's happening. But it's not really feasible because there's about a 10 or 15 second delay on the live. Because, they ring the bell and everybody eats and does a toast together, but if the people at the other end are 10 seconds behind
In a
because they're
different
watching it
time
on their
zone.
phone, anyways. Some ideas that were tossed around.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just get our names up there? I mean,
There's no place to put stuff, but we could, maybe on the poster or some sort of the advertising, yeah, I think so.
is there I can't remember what there's the stage, but there's no like screen behind it or
No screens for that.
backdrops or anything.
No, but there maybe if there's a banner or some sort of artwork, I should put the KALB logo on it, or Film Fest or KALB,
Don't look at me.
yeah.
Should at least put KLB on it.
Yeah, KALB logo, all right, everywhere.
You're probably doing sound.
I am, yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of gives us a plan, and I'll just touch base with everybody either individually as a group and see who wants to show up at different times, and we'll try and work it out. Either Alex or I will coordinate that.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Okay. Then moving on to bridging the gap between AHS and KLB. Well, I hoped Raquel would be here, but
Could you turn
that's
that
okay. I guess one thing,
Scroll up,
Scroll up.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't quite
please.
understand.
I know. I can get the words.
one thing could be in this coming year, we could have the film class and film club submit things to the Film Fest. Because they do make films, but I don't know how much of it would be in time for the Film Fest, so we'll have to
Yeah.
see. But they also have films from last year that they have made, so maybe they could submit those.
I think it would be the ones from last year. That
Yeah.
would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would be very good with
So I'm
that.
sure we could
I
coordinate
think,
with the school to,
Submission ends sometime end of November, I think. So
Okay.
that's probably early for the school year. But for
Yeah.
the last year, and yeah, that'd be great.
yeah. So Raquel and I can probably talk to the film teacher and try to see if we can coordinate that.
Is Mr. Castle still doing that? Or is
Yeah.
it- Okay. Is there a new art instructor at the high school that replaced
Ginny?
Ginny?
I'm not sure, but I also think the film class may have been discontinued, but there is the film club.
Right.
So, but they still have films that they did make last year anyways, so I think that's still viable.
What is the film? Is the film club like people who actually like to make films?
Yeah, I think so.
watch
It was very recently made, so I think it's going to be more done in this upcoming school year. So I guess we'll have to see what that does.
That would be a great place for us to
Yeah.
connect with whatever it is they
Yeah.
do.
And we would
Doesn't
really like
matter.
to support that.
Yeah, and they have a
Yeah.
teacher advisor, so maybe you could talk to that teacher because
That
all
would
clubs
be
have to have
great.
a teacher advisor. So
Yeah.
Now, is that Mr. Castle too, or is it somebody else?
maybe, I mean, I'm assuming it would be him, but I'm sure we can find that out.
Yeah, because he and I, these last couple of years, we just haven't really done very much, or even had, he's just been so busy with so many things. We have a long history of working together, but it was always kind of in the relationship to KALB and the production class, creating stuff. But maybe if we look at it from film festival's point of view, and kind of looking at the entire school, not
Yeah.
just kind of like the video production class.
Yeah,
Yeah. that'd be
I'm sure we
super.
could get some films.
Great.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excellent.
that's all I can
Thank you.
generally think of for that part of the agenda right now.
Did you, when you were doing the daily bulletins, did you get any feedback from students? Did anybody care or ever mention that I heard that thing about the film festival? I think Raquel did a few readings, like before the film festival, or did you ever hear anything
I
about
didn't
that?
hear very much about it from students. I don't know. It may have been advertised more in the film class, but I don't know.
Do you think like postering or graphics, around the school would make a difference?
I think it could, yeah.
For what, like, the various things that we do?
Yeah.
So maybe we need to look at like some kind of postering in addition to, or maybe instead of, because, every time I go to the high school, there's some great artwork that's throughout the hallways,
Yeah.
kind of, and, we have a pretty good working relationship with the school, and now with both of you on the committee and as seniors, I think we could make some real headway into, like, just getting people to know about the different things that are happening here, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Then you and I and Raquel should just be, kind of, we don't officially have a subcommittee about that, but I think, I don't think we necessarily need to have an official subcommittee on
Yeah.
that. Let's just, the three of us can work on that.
Okay.
then we don't have any Brown Act violations. Or I can have Alex work together with you, and that way she can get a chance
Okay.
to meet everybody at the high school.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for that, unless anyone else has comments on what they want from AHS in this upcoming year.
Sounds like a
More
lot.
films.
More films, yeah. That would be good. As long as you approve of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess then moving on to the future agenda items. So does anyone have a future agenda item they want to discuss?
I think I can bring, in October, I think I can bring a budget report for where we stand for the equipment fund. One of the things I also realized that we didn't put on this is, now we have new members.
Right.
And one specific new member for this meeting is that we didn't do introductions.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But what, I think maybe at the next meeting, I'll put that on the agenda, and we can talk a little bit, because, Juan and Raquel will be here, and then we can all do, a full round of introductions. Hopefully, we'll have a full, full house, for, we're still down one.
From the school board, yeah.
One, the adult, or, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an adult from the school board. So if there is another student member who is interested,
Well, yeah,
then
the
we
school board
can-
just has to appoint them.
yeah, the school board just has to point, we just need to find one other person, so,
Can they just appoint anyone they want?
yeah.
Any
Yeah.
They have to
adult
apply.
or student?
What about Liz McBee Horner? She's involved in film, isn't she?
She is,
But
and
she's
she was
a
a member.
former member.
She's a
She-
former,
oh.
but one of the, I think the position that you filled was her position.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I think so, So you are Liz McBee Horner.
Okay.
But perhaps this year is different for her, maybe she
Maybe.
has more time.
Yeah.
I think she has less time.
Oh, maybe not.
If you know anybody else who maybe, we have one more position and then we have a fully staffed committee, so if you have any friends.
Do they have to be film?
No,
Oh,
they
no?
have to live in Albany.
Have to
though.
live in Albany,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
okay. I know quite a few people, so.
perfect.
I think having the budget report would be good, just because we have so many new people.
Yeah.
So they understand what CMAC and KALB does. And,
Yeah.
One of the things we do is give advice about the budget spending.
Well, Jack, I'm going to do that presentation for Rotary.
Yeah.
Maybe what I can do is do a scaled down 5-minute version of that
Yeah.
to kind of refresh everybody on kind of what our mission is.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay. Because Alex will be here too, and then, I think it'd just be good to get everybody kind of like starting fresh.
Yeah.
That'll, that way we can make a plan for the year. And because one of the things we haven't done any major equipment purchases, we haven't done any real planning for kind of what we want to do, and where the rest of the infrastructure is going now that we're pretty set, how do we do more outreach? And I think having a good understanding of what this operation is and a little bit of the history would be
Yeah.
okay.
When is our next meeting?
That would
Well, that's next.
Oh, sorry.
Well, so into that then, the next
Down there.
meeting is Monday, October 22nd at 6 PM, again, here in the city council chambers.
And no public meetings in August,
Yeah.
except for school board.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
yeah, so
You just have to convince them to take August off.
they took July off, kind of,
Oh, they
except
did.
for they had a special meeting last week that I had to
Oh,
film, so not really.
Yeah. All right, well, if there's nothing else, then it's time for adjournment. So is there a motion on the floor to adjourn this meeting?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that,
Ah.
so then we would be adjourned.
All right,
Well
thank you,
done.
everybody. Yeah. You're a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunny, this was Chloe's first night as chair, so.